Welcome to Stay Curious, where we talk about the latest in QR code trends. I'm Christelle, and we're here with QR code expert Benjamin Kleiss. For today's episode, we're going to talk about QR codes on TV commercials, especially with the latest Super Bowl and last year's FIFA World Cup. In this episode, we're talking about how big events like the Super Bowl and FIFA World Cup have helped companies enhance their super short but million-dollar ads with these versatile squares. There was also the World Cup last year, which made full use of its international ads, with QR codes serving as the gateway to their promotional pages. So let's ask Ben, our QR code expert, what can marketers and ad agencies actually learn from all this? For the first question, Ben, the Super Bowl has been known for being a home for QR code ads. And why do you think these brands keep using QR codes on big sports events and like the Super Bowl and World Cup?
Well, I think firstly, the trend was being set, of course, by Coinbase, who did this really engaging ad with the QR codes. And in the end of the day, the QR codes are an access portal to anything, right? They're like, I call them a digital door. So if you do an ad which is expensive, why not use a way to convert users in signups or in engaged users in different ways? And QR codes are perfect for this, right? Let's be honest. There is no better way than to engage a customer or a viewer of the Super Bowl with a QR code in the digital space as the Super Bowl, where there are ads all over big screens and allow them to engage with it.
Yeah, and that's what's actually exciting about QR codes on TV ads is that before, companies would pay really millions of dollars for brand recall only.
Right.
But right now, with the help of QR codes, they're able to close sales right away just by posting that QR code on their TV commercials. They had people like being busy watching the Super Bowl ad, and right in the middle,
Right.
they would get people to take their phones out and actually go to the landing page, close a sale right then and there, and
Right.
like really register and get all these products right away. That's totally amazing for me because it's not just about brand recall. It really makes the whole $1 million in ads
Right.
totally worth it when you add that QR code in there.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's one of the biggest benefits, that it's not just brand awareness, like you say, it is also helping to convert to something more and engage in the same time. So it works, it's a win-win-win in different levels. And like I say, Super Bowl ads are not cheap, right? So in this way, they definitely will get some of that ad budget back to their and convert users in it. Not just the word of mouth that plays, but also the people that actually can engage with the real product.
Yeah, so for the first time ever, companies are actually able to get their ROI right away just
Right.
because of that one ad. It's totally worth it this time. And let's head to the next question. And number 2, what are your thoughts on QR codes being used in TV commercials, Ben? Is it just a fad, or will it become like more popular?
I think TV ads are not dead, right? Let's be honest, there's a lot of people still watching TV, although that there's now different channels and different ways to look at a television. But QR codes are, again, a great way to engage a customer with the series that they're watching. They can see maybe which clothes are they wearing. They can maybe buy in e-commerce. Again, it offers a gate to whatever is happening on television. This could be in series, right, where people are actually watching a series, or this could be on the ad itself, right, so where there's an engagement in an ad and people scan and get engaged in that way or convert in that way. So TV ads and QR codes are not just only for the ads, but also for the content that is being produced on the television. Again, if you're watching a football game, you can scan and you can actually maybe engage with the players in somehow or buy their merchandise or something like that. So it brings different levels. It gives a digital dimension and engagement level within the whole television space. So QR codes are big in this, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, because back then companies are just like, they're dependent on the TV networks data analysis of their commercials. But right now, by putting these QR codes, it's totally a game changer, not just to close sales, but also to be able to track the number of scans, the location of scans, and all these other data that's needed for them to create more targeted ads in the future,
I
be
agree,
it
yeah.
like commercials or social media as well.
Yeah, I think, like I said, there's different levels to engage with a television ad, or you can bring it to like we have a social media page where you have different social media. It could bring you to a landing page where you convert to a product. It could bring you to maybe one social media on its own. So there's different ways how this can actually be a way to build up followers, or straight away try to convert or give more information. So that's, I think, what QR codes all can offer in different levels in this space of television, or gamify the whole thing, where a series become gamified by QR codes, and it becomes something where you are more bounded to the series ad. It's not just you as a watcher, but you as a part of the series in somehow. Yeah.
Yes, because a lot of other QR codes on TV also make full use of these versatile squares as like opening to their portal, to their website, for people to do other stuff in there, not just actually sales, but for them to explore the website of that product. Like the recent one from Avocados from Mexico, they have this whole portal there.
Right.
Yeah. And so let's go to question number 3. When using QR codes for TV commercials, what are the things that marketers should look out for? And what are some best practices that you can tell us?
So when there is a QR code on a television ad, I think the placement is of course important. It's important that the QR code is big enough that people can see that it's long enough on the screen. If you have an ad and it's short, make sure then that the QR code becomes engaging, right? So that there is something more happening. Make sure there is a call for action. Make sure that people understand that they need to scan. There's still a lot of people when they see a QR code that don't know what to do. But if it says scan and win, buy now or something, or get discount, and people actually understand when they scan this QR code what's going to happen next, right? So that's also something that I think is important. Make that QR code also interesting looking, right? Make it a bit more appealing. That doesn't mean that the QR code needs to be too colorful. Make sure on a television ad that the QR code is not in yellow or in gold, because the contrast of a QR code is really important. If the background is white and the pattern is yellow, it will not scan as well, so people will be there with their phone much longer on television trying to scan with something that is actually not so scannable. And of course, test it, right? Because if you have a television, it can be that on some media that it will be stretched or whatever, so make sure that it's actually really fits, because if a QR code gets stretched, it might not scan anymore. Such kind of things are important to put in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that, the colors of the QR codes, because it's really tricky to actually play around with colors, especially with QR codes on television, because people have different settings on their TVs, definitely. So
Right.
The contrast of these colors might be totally different than the ones that you intended to show.
Yeah.
So just stick with the normal, like black and white also, but make sure it's still customized and it's really scannable. So always just test it, especially on the landing page that you're going to lead the customers in when they scan the QR code.
You need to look at your QR code as a door, right? If you have a door of a shop, make sure that door of many shops looks interesting. Otherwise, people are not willing to enter your store. That's the same for a QR code. Yeah, you want people to enter something, right? Make sure that on that level, well done, right? Well integrated also with the rest. So it's clear, but in the same time, doesn't destroy the whole advertisement, right? And if you do an ad, integrate it in a way that it becomes, if you think that's important for your ad, make sure that the QR code is well placed, yeah. Not on a corner somewhere where nobody can see it.
Right. That's true. It has to be entertaining and at the same time engaging to get people to actually take out their phones in the middle of a TV commercial and scan it for it to be really effective.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to question number 4. We've been seeing a number of QR code campaigns that lead to augmented reality portals. Some of them include ads like Pepsi's The Weekend Portal and Kia's RoboDog. And as opposed to other ways of accessing an AR portal, are QR codes the best tools to use for it? Why or why not?
Well, you need to think of it. There is a product like a can of Pepsi. It goes around. It's been distributed to different shops. So a QR code is an easy and affordable way to print on the packaging, right? Where people just can scan it and then have a different AR experience with the product they see. And that product they see can also be part of that AR experience. So yes, I think a QR code is the most efficient way to do something like an AR experience with a product. So Pepsi did that really good, right? I think they executed it nice. The QR code was also very clear on their can. So I do believe, again, QR codes are a gateway, are a door, also for AR in this case, right? So it's nothing else than an experience that you want to offer in a most easy way. And of course, people have a smartphone, so with a smartphone you can scan and then have your AR experience that gives you again just a little bit more engagement. And I think that's also important. The product here becomes the messenger, right? That's what QR codes can offer with the product. The product tells you a story, tells you something more. That I think is really powerful as well, because all those products are distributed anyway. Why not making it engaging? Why not gamify the whole product itself?
Exactly. Just really immerse the customers there, make them feel some type of way. That's how they remember you even better. And when they're enjoying your product with the use of these QR codes and AR. And so I just want to ask as well, and do you think QR codes and AR portals will become a staple combination in immersive campaigns from now on?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see anything as a better technology at the moment that can do that, right? People need to still scan to have first download something, an H5 page on their phone, stabilize it. That's how it all works, to have some effect of this AR coming. I see AR evolving in the next years. Many companies are busy with AR, right? So it's definitely something where QR codes will play an important role in. It is also for people to understand, hey, here is a door, there's something to do, right? That QR code also gives that signal to a customer that he needs to take his phone out and do something. So that's already in the brain of a user. When they see a QR code, what's now the next thing I need to do, right? So people are getting used to the whole habit of scanning QR codes. And that I think is why it's one of the most successful solutions right now.
Yeah, that's a totally whole new world again with AR and QR codes. That combination is just totally a game changer as well in the AR space.
Right.
Okay, and the next question, the successful QR code marketing campaigns we see on TV commercials are backed by teams or marketers who work really hard in creating out-of-the-box ads. These are like big marketing or ad agencies. And in order to stand out, marketers are constantly looking for new ways to present product and services. One superpower that marketers have is the ability to examine an ad and analyze the mechanisms behind a campaign. So now, this is where your skill comes in. Let's put Ben's QR code marketing expertise to the test and have him analyze some of these commercials. So Ben, you will need to guess what these commercials are, how you could use them, and first up will be the Coinbase floating QR code campaign. This is one of the most popular QR code campaigns out there with the floating QR code. We're all familiar with that. And the ad resembles a DVD screensavers from the early 2000s. And we're given the scanners were given a sign-on bonus when they register for a Coinbase account. What do you think went on behind the scenes? How did they come up with a...
So I read a bit of the story, So the CEO of Coinbase actually broke it down on his Twitter page, and so they were looking with a creative agency to do something. The ad also didn't have a huge budget. They had like $100,000 to do something on the Super Bowl, which was not a huge budget for the Super Bowl. And they were thinking to do some ad and in the end show a QR code, and they started to realize like, okay, look, how can we maximize out of it? And in the end, they just threw away the whole ad and just said, look, let's just float the QR code over the page as a screensaver and have it to convert for people to sign up, right? And with a bonus, of course. If there's not an incentive, people would not sign up. And I think that was really powerful because it was, like I said, the most creative ideas are not about a lot of money. The most creative ideas are how can I use my budget to get the most out of it. And that was actually such kind of a campaign, and Coinbase did it really good. And I think it also set the trend for QR codes in different advertisings that we saw later on. So it was not just an ad that had its effect, it was an ad that influenced the whole industry, and that I think was powerful.
Yeah, and it inspired marketers to actually think outside the box even more, because the CEO himself even said that they were sick of the whole template for Super Bowl ads where you have to hire like a big celebrity for that appearance, for that star factor, wow factor,
right?
And then it has to be like really mind-blowing or something like that, like a really crazy idea. But then they all scrapped it and they just went with the DVD. It has nostalgia in it. It's super simple. It really stood out from all the others that even used bigger celebrities because it's super simple like that. And people would want to catch the moving QR codes along their screens. What is this?
Yeah.
It really piques that curiosity.
Yeah, it was great.
Really nice.
It was absolutely great,
Yeah, all right. For the next one, to challenge you, Ben, like what would you do with Burger King's QR Whopper TV commercial, which was a welcome engagement to the people at home during the pandemic? The ad featured a moving QR code that leads to a landing page where people can actually claim a coupon for free Whoppers. again, we talked about like instant sales right away within the TV commercial.
So it's important to understand that in the timeline, this came before Coinbase. Maybe Coinbase have seen that advertisement as well. So that was of course one of the first time that a TV ad had a QR code which was floating, where you need to try to catch it and get a discount, right? So it's again how to make an advertising in a simple way, engaging, and maximize the effect of it, because you not just want to do awareness, but you also want people to go and taste that new Whopper, right? So that's also, I think, was the thing. They brought different elements within their ad campaign. It was a nice approach to have a overall success in different levels of an ad, and that I think was the success of this campaign. And I think, like I say, it's the first time that the QR code was doing this over a screen. It becomes before Coinbase, so that's pretty important to understand.
Exactly.
Pretty original campaign as well, yeah.
Very original, and because they're not an e-commerce company, of course, they're Burger King, they're fast food. They really maximized it by giving people the coupons to make sure that these people who scan the QR code will definitely go to Burger King
Right.
after getting that coupon. So it's totally a game changer, and it really made sure that they get the ROI from that ad.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and lastly, to check your genius again, Ben, Expensify this campaign. This automating software, Expensify, released a music video ad for the Super Bowl. The video showed numerous QR code tags on luxury items, and scanners were given the chance to be reimbursed $200,000 in cash for the ice-sculpted sports car found in the video, as long as they scanned the QR code through the Expensify app. What are your thoughts on this? What could have happened behind the scenes?
This, I think, what is interesting here is to understand, of course, again, QR codes are being used in an omni-channel way, right? So they've been printed in the street, it was on the Super Bowl, it was in different places, right? So it was not just an approach of, hey, we're going to do an ad. No, it was really an omni-channel approach. And then the next thing that I think is important to understand is like QR codes need to be scanned. So instead of telling users sign up, it's like, you know, if you want to win, you need to sign up to scan this thing. So it actually makes people to the habit of actually scanning as well within the app. So they actually try to cultivate something in the mind of a user that downloaded that app, that they also can scan QR codes with it, right? So this is actually probably something where they're going to use QR codes later on within the product in different levels, because otherwise, why would you push users to scan a QR code with your app, right? There is a reason for that. So that, I think, is interesting to understand also how they actually brought this kind of logic within their advertising.
Yeah, and because of that, they have people register to their app.
Yeah.
And then now they have all these database of people where they can then sell them via email or social media as well, because they already have these information of the people. So
Right.
it's a total gold mine of information or of data when you use a QR code. It does not just, it guarantees your ROI as well as get all these targeted information or targeted data for your new customers. It's
Right.
really a game changer as well. And so, Ben, it's clearly evident that QR codes have become a key element in implementing creative campaigns that result in more than favorable outcomes, like spreading brand awareness and streamlining the customer journey towards purchasing. So the question now is, do you think marketers and digital agencies should add QR codes to their tools in coming up with campaigns for their clients?
Well, I do believe that a brand awareness campaign is great, but if you do a brand awareness campaign, you have no understanding if people actually are, you know, understanding the brand or getting more. So the QR code, again, offers a digital dimension to your brand awareness campaign and gives you useful data. And that, I think, is something that will stay right now. Now that people have seen how other marketers are using this, I do believe this is going to be something, a trend that will stay for the next 5-10 years at least. Why? Because you can get more out of your advertising. And if you can get more for your money, why wouldn't you do it, right? I think that's the logic that is also behind it, right? It's just now understanding like, okay, we come to the next level. QR codes are there, they're here to stay. How can we now get the maximum effect out of our advertisement?
And now that you think about it, you even wonder why not a lot of companies are using QR codes in their TV commercials. When, aside from TV commercials, net streaming services and production companies are already using QR codes as well,
Right.
for Easter egg QR codes on their TV series, because then more people are just getting more engaged. It
Right.
gets people talking. You grow your community that way. It's just so many.
Well, if you add a QR code, you need to think a bit more. If you want to make a poster with a beautiful image, that's one thing. But if you want to put a QR code, you need to think to the next level, right? And I think many marketers are still afraid a little bit to enter that next level, right? Because it brings a certain level of complexity. Right. And you need to execute it well, right? It does happen that people execute it wrong, or that things go wrong, or that people end up on the wrong landing page or something like that. It needs a bit of organization. And I think that's where sometimes marketers are afraid and try to stay in their traditional space where they are safe, right? But those creative marketers and those people who are trendsetters definitely going to keep on pushing on that, right? So we will see this trend more and more happening, definitely.
Because for those who did like break the mold, it really changed the way they sold their product and people remember them really well. So there is actually more good stories or just good results of using
Indeed.
QR codes on TV for that.
Right.
And so now, if I'm a marketer or an agency, this is actually very important for our listeners out there who may be working for an ad or marketing agency. Ben will be able to explain like how it is more important for QR code marketing campaigns and the most ideal thing they can do like for enterprise accounts, and how can you help them do that?
So QR Tagger has different plans. We have plans for people who want to use it for their own business, but we also have it on an enterprise level for people like marketers or other kind of bigger corporates who have different needs. Of course, our software has been developed in the level that it can be used for marketing. And that's also, we know that there's a big group of people that come to us that are marketers. So we have at the Facebook pixel tracking, we had a lot of different tools that actually marketers can custom tailor their QR code campaigns. And that I think is just not on the level of the execution of making a QR code look good, but also on the level of what is the data can do, how can you get more precise. We also have these features like a multi-URL feature. A multi-URL feature is a QR code. If you scan it in different countries, it will bring you to a different page. Or one that I think is also great is a multi-URL. If you scan 10 times, it will bring you to one landing page. If you scan 3 times, it will bring another landing page. If you scan 4 times, then another landing page, and you can loop that. So every time people scan, they will get something different to see. So this again engages things, right? Because you don't know what's going to come next when you scan. This can be used for discounts, so people can win. The first 10 can win 50% discount, the next 10 can win 30% discount, the next 2 can maybe get it for free. So you can work in different levels with all these kind of things. Also, there's people of different languages in different countries. So with our multi-URL feature, if people scan, people that speak Spanish will go to a Spanish page, people that speak English will go to an English page. So this is what I think QR Tagger is one of the most advanced softwares in QR codes at the moment, is because we really listened really carefully to our customers and their needs and develop the software within that logic, right? Even our good competitors come to look at us what we do next, because I think, we try to do really innovative things. And that I think is also what we stand for as a company. Keep on innovating, keep on understanding what happens in the market, and most important, follow those needs. We also have an API that can be integrated. We also have QR codes in bulk, so you can actually create more QR codes if you need them for different products. We have different levels of a software that can fulfill different needs of different people at the same time. And that I think is what a good software should do. And this, of course, in an intuitive way, so you don't need to break your head. How does that work? No, the feature actually explains it easily so people can quickly understand as well.
Yeah, that's the thing about QR Tagger, is that we're considering small to medium enterprises and also huge corporations and ad agencies as well. So we're able to fill in their needs. And it's good that you mentioned the multi-URL QR code, Ben, because we'll leave our complete guide to multi-URL QR codes for all the listeners out there. You can just see it in the description down below so you can learn more about it. And there's also the bulk QR code, again, that you can just use. You can generate 100 QR codes in one go. That would be so amazing. And for our marketers out there, even if you're creating a lot of other QR codes for different companies, you can check them easily via Zapier, HubSpot, and Google Analytics, of course, because we have those integrations available.
Right.
So it's really important that we highlight that for them. And also, it's worth mentioning the social media QR code we have. Like, you can actually put multiple channel links in there, so you can promote your channels in just one QR code. So that's perfect for all those other small and medium corporations and even big companies. You can totally do all that. And all right, so thanks, Ben, for answering all our questions.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I hope you guys were able to learn from that. And as we all know, $1 million budgets won't cut it if your QR code TV ad just won't translate to your audience. If they won't be able to relate to it, then it's not really worth it. So most of the time, an ad success is really about not the budget, but in your team's tenacity to go be outside the box and really challenge the norm. So by using QR codes, you're actually able to push the boundaries and close in more sales, because more people can then just take out their phones and close a deal with your company with what you want them to do, whether it's buy your product or just visit your website. And please, for your own good, for companies out there listening to this podcast until the very end, thank you, by the way, but we just want to remind you, always scan your QR codes before you post them, whether it's for TV or offline or on your online campaigns as well. And if you have any questions, please don't forget to leave them in the comments down below so we can address them in the next episode. Again, this has been Cristel and Ben. See you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious. Bye.
Bye.